On Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and our speaker, she is a board member of the Bhakti Center in New York City, also a board member of the Bhakti Vedanta College in Belgium. She is a member of Sabha. She came to Krishna consciousness at the age of 16 years old in 1968, and she is the mother of Gauravani. Her Grace, Rukmini Devi Dasi.
So because this is a verse quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm going to say, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 16, text number 186. This is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam. Yannamadeya Shravananukirtanad Yannamadeya Shravananukirtanad Yat Pravanad Yat Smaranad Apikvachit Yat Pravanad Yat Smaranad Apikvachit Svadopi Sadya Savanaya Kalpate Svadopi Sadya Savanaya Kalpate Kutak Punaste Bhagavan Nudarshanat Yannamadeha Shravananukirtanat Yat Pravanad Yak Smaranad Apikvachit Svadopi Sadya Savanaya Kalpate Kutak Punaste Bhagavan Nudarshanad. Please chant. Vaishnavis? Namadeya Shravananukirtana Pravanagya smaranapi kvachit. Yopi sadhya savanaya kalpate. Bhagavan darshana. Kirtanam. Bhavanagya smaranadapi kvachit. Yopi sadhya savanaya kalpate. Utak punaste bhagavan darshanat. Yet, please, want to chant? Namadeya Shravananu Kirtanam. Pavanaya Smarana Pikachu. Yopi Sadhya Savanaya Kalpate. Tas Punaste Bhagavan Darshana. Yat, of whom? Namadeha, of the name. Shravana, from hearing. Anukirtanat, and thereafter from chanting. Yet, to whom? Pravanat, from offering respects. Yet, of whom? Smaranat, from simply remembering. Api, also. Kvachit, sometimes. Svadaha, a dog eater. Api, even. Sadhyak, immediately. Savanaya, for performing Vedic sacrifices. Kalpate, becomes eligible. Kutak, what to speak. Punak, again. Te, of you. Bhagavan, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nu, certainly. Darshanat, from seeing. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. To say nothing of the spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face, even a person born in a family of dog-eaters becomes immediately eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisances, or even remembers him. Please repeat. To say nothing of the spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face, even a person born in a family of dog-eaters becomes immediately eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisances, or even remembers him. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 33rd Chapter, 6th Verse. According to this verse, it doesn't matter what position a person holds. One may be the lowest of the low, a chandala or dog-eater, but if he takes to chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord, he is immediately eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. This is especially true in the age of Kali. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. A person born in a Brahmana family cannot perform Vedic sacrifices until he is properly purified and has attained his sacred thread. However, according to this verse, it is understood that even a low-born person can immediately perform sacrifices if he sincerely chants and hears the holy name of the Lord. Sometimes envious people ask how Europeans and Americans in this Krishna consciousness movement can become brahmanas and perform sacrifices. They do not know that the Europeans and Americans have already been purified by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the proof. Svadyo pisadyo savanaya kalpate. One may be born in a family of dog eaters, but he can perform sacrifices simply by chanting the Maha Mantra. Those who find fault in the Western Vaishnavas should consider this statement from Srimad Bhagavatam and the commentary on this verse by Srila Jiva Goswami. In this regard, Srila Jiva Goswami has stated that to become a brahmana, one has to wait for purification and undergo the sacred thread ceremony. But a chanter of the holy name does not have to wait for the sacred thread ceremony. We do not allow devotees to perform sacrifices until they are properly initiated in the sacred thread ceremony. Yet, according to this verse, an offenseless chanter of the holy name is already fit to perform a fire ceremony, even though he is not doubly initiated by the sacred thread ceremony. This is the verdict given by Lord Kapiladev in his instructions to his mother, Devahuti. It was Lord Kapiladev who instructed Devahuti in pure Sankhya philosophy. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschati Tame Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangolam Gayate Girim Yat Kripastamahang Bande Shri Guru Dinataranam Vanshakapatarubhyascha Kripashindu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Karadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare. Thank you so very much for inviting me to give this class today. I pray for the blessings of this august assembly of devotees. Thank you so much. Yesterday, Bhakti Dhira Damodar Maharaj gave a very inspiring class. In particular, he asked everyone, what is the miracle that you see here today? And he answered himself that the miracle is that a black man is sitting here speaking to a group of white men and women. Right? So today we have another miracle of Krishna's grace. I'm sitting here. This magnanimous verse of Srimad Bhagavatam celebrates the unprecedented power of Krishna's holy name and its ability to purify and transform even those who are most ineligible to receive its grace. And in Srila Prabhupada's purport, Devahuti is honored as an authority on Srimad Bhagavatam. But there are so many verses like this. Srila Prabhupada so often quoted in lectures, and this one in a letter he wrote to the very important man, Hanuman Prasad Padar from Gita Press. Prabhupada wrote in defense of his activities of giving the holy name all over the world. Prabhupada quoted this verse, Kiratahu Nandra Pulinda Pulkasa Sumbai Abhira Sumba Yavanaka Sadaya Inyecha papa yadupasraya sraya sudanti tasmai pravavishnave namaha. So this verse is Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 4th chapter, 18th verse. And the verse names so many races of people of the world. The Hungarians, the people of Andhra, the Greeks, the Turks, the Africans. And it says that these and even others who are addicted to sinful activities can all be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the all-powerful Lord. So in this verse, the magnanimous power of the devotee of the Lord is being praised. So this word magnanimous, we hear it all the time, right? We address Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Namo Mahabhadanaya, most magnanimous avatar. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, 18th chapter, verses 121 through 123, says, if they see you, addressing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if they see you just once, even women, children, old men, meat-eaters, and members of the lowest caste immediately chant the holy name of Krishna, dance like madmen, and become spiritual masters capable of delivering the whole world. Apart from seeing you, whoever listens to your holy name is made mad with ecstatic love for Krishna and is able to deliver the three worlds. Simply by hearing your holy name, dog-eaters become holy saints. Your uncommon potencies cannot be described in words. Then we hear that Lord Nityananda is even more merciful, more magnanimous than Lord Chaitanya, right? So from the Chaitanya Bhagavat, by Nityananda's grace, one may know Gaurachandra. By Nityananda's grace, one may understand his devotees. By Nityananda's grace, one's criticism of others will cease. By Nityananda's grace, one gains devotion to the Lord. No criticism of others flows from the mouth of Nityananda's servants. Day and night, with great joy, they sing the fame of Chaitanya. Nityananda's devotees are always attentive. What about Sri Advaita Acharya? With his pure realized vision, he gave the first offering of the Shraddha ceremony he was performing to the so-called Muslim Haridas. Bypassing all the high caste Brahmins, he was beyond stereotyped thinking. Just imagine the chagrin of the Brahmins of Navadvip. Who is this Muslim Haridas? How dare he chant Krishna's names? And what about the Brahmins traveling in the entourage of Ramananda Roy? They had only external vision. They thought he was a low-caste politician. How dare he embrace Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a sannyasi? So we could make the same mistakes today, not seeing the actual saints among us. Some are leaders, some are also humble, silent workers, sometimes doing the most menial work, but with great realization of the joy of their service to Lord Krishna. And we recognize Srila Prabhupada as most magnanimous. In Vrindavan, just after Srila Prabhupada left this world, his beloved godbrother, Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji, told our godbrother, Bibi Govinda Maharaj, he said, your Guru Maharaj, your Srila Prabhupada, is the greatest acharya who has ever lived. He did what no other acharya has ever done, delivering so many people from all over the world. Jai Prabhupada. Of course, the great magnanimous Prahlad Maharaj only prayed for the rescue of all the unfortunate souls of this world. What about the magnanimous glories of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna? They are the boat which carries us across this ocean of nations to the other shore, and still that boat is so magnanimous. So many saints have taken that boat to the other side, but still that boat remains on this side for us to take. And what about Srimati Radharani, who pulls others forward and says, he is better than me. She's better than me. Please accept him. Please accept her. So all our lords, all our acharyas are celebrated as magnanimous. And we can also strive to become magnanimous following in their footprints. Or we can choose to remain sectarian, judgmental, or fault-finding. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the story of Amoga, the son of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was criticizing Lord Chaitanya, and eventually he contacted cholera. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to him and touched his heart and said to him, Amoga, the heart of a Brahmin is a very pure place. How have you allowed envy to enter there? Such a moving story. So the hearts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and great acharyas like Srila Prabhupada are like molten lava, like fire. Anything it touches also catches fire. Everywhere they went, people became Krishna conscious. If we choose to lose the spirit of our great founder Acharya, following only the external letters of the principles he gave us, then our hearts and our institution could become calcified like cold, hard stone. In 1966, when Srila Prabhupada had only a tiny storefront on the edge of one of the most degenerate areas of New York City, really one of the most degenerate areas of the whole world, he decided to incorporate his new society under the name the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. People thought it was a bit crazy. What? A tiny storefront in a slum? An international society? They were laughing. Was he having some kind of illusions of grandeur? No one could see what he was seeing, his vision of the future. Jai Shishi Radha Madhava Astasaki. No one could see his vision of the future, his vision of a worldwide society, celebrating sadhu sangha, nama kirtan, and bhagavat shravan, creating beautiful Srimurti seva, creating holy dhams like Sridham Mayapur all over the world. If we want to move into the future, making Srila Prabhupada's society truly international, we have to understand that 99% of the people of the world are not Hindu, and 51% of the people of the world are women. Without keeping Srila Prabhupada's broad vision in the forefront of our thinking, his vision for an international society could splinter into so many fractured factions. As we move into the future of ISKCON, we need to choose what that future should look like. Will the young people of the world be attracted to rigid sectarian rituals? Will the intelligent people of the world be inspired to join us? To think outside the box, to be open to hear all others. What are their needs, interests, and concerns? To hear from the youth, to hear from people who see the world differently from the way I see it. To honor our tradition, but to also be open to innovation and proactivity. The world is in crisis. Parents in India and all over the world are concerned that their children are losing their values. I want to give you an example. I was just in Delhi, and in India, schools sponsor many different kinds of what they call Olympiads. They have Math Olympiad, Science Olympiad, Reading Olympiad. But the Punjabi Bagh Temple organized a Value Education Olympiad. And the subtitle for this Olympiad was an attempt to imbibe value from the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita among our children. Isn't that beautiful? So 22 schools in West Delhi took part in this Olympiad, some of them Christian schools also. 6,200 children participated of different ages, even teenagers. That's amazing, yes. It was a smashing success, and they intend to double or triple the participation next year. Businessmen were inspired to donate great prizes, a laptop, a bike, gift certificates to popular clothing stores. And I was there for the Gala Vijay Utsava, which was held in a huge rented hall where they appreciated the kids, the donors, the school principals gave their support, who gave their support. It was really beautiful to see this group of teenagers standing in a row, chanting verses, several verses from Bhagavad Gita with such love in their eyes and such appreciation. These are not devotee kids. So much love and appreciation for what they learned from Bhagavad Gita. It was very moving. So, yeah, and the school principals were honored there. So this innovative idea was given by a woman who is a professor who holds 4 PhDs. She's not initiated, and she's part of the Punjabi Bagh communications team. In case you're thinking, well, she can't be a very good mom because she's working, she's also an exemplary mom. Her kids are both inspired devotees. Her 18-year-old daughter just graduated as valedictorian of her class. Her younger son is an all-around topper in all his classes and activities. And because of her professional standing in the world, she was able to approach and convince principals from 22 schools in West Delhi to participate. So innovative thinkers like this, men, women, youth, whoever they are, need to be encouraged. Srila Prabhupada wanted us all to come together each year at Mayapur to discuss unity in diversity. Is this just to become an empty slogan? We deprive ourselves, we diminish and impoverish our society when we are not able to honor the many voices who come forward to serve Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya's mission. Humility means that I know that I am tiny. I have so much to learn from you, from all others, that no one is put into difficulty by my words or my actions. I believe it was Srila Prabhupada's vision that we are enriched by our diversity, to honor even the smallest voices, to uplift, to appreciate all others, to honor the voices of devotees, old and new, of different cultures, different countries, all around the world. We are enriched by our diversity. We are not all the same and homogeneous. Maybe that's what merging into the Brahman looks like. Homogeneous, right? But in Bhakti, in the moods of Vrindavan, there are infinite varieties of innovative services and ways to love and please Krishna. We each possess a sacred, unique individuality, and we can each be inspired by Krishna in our hearts to serve in unique and wonderful ways. In Vrindavan, in the Vrijvasi spirit, there is such variety of colors of birds and flowers and cows and other animals, old and young gopis and gopas dressed in their favorite colors, each in their own unique rasa, each with their own wonderful eccentricities. In conclusion, I just wanted to say that the Panchatattva broke open the storehouse of love of Godhead, and I pray that we humbly serve together to make sure that storehouse never again becomes locked up. I wanted to say one other thing, that there's a very beautiful verse on a wall in Vrindavan. I don't know where it's from. Maybe one of you could tell me. It's just as you walk in to see Radha-Raman, have the darshan of Radha-Raman. It's on a wall in that area of where the Brahmins live. And on the wall it says, at my Gauranga Ghat, Lord Chaitanya's Ghat, right? At my Gauranga Ghat, the sinners, the fallen, the uninitiated are all ferried free, are all carried across free. So, yeah, I was always so inspired by this verse. So thank you so much. Maybe you have some thoughts of what was important for you here, or some reflections, or some questions or points.
Thank you for a wonderful class, Devi. Thank you so much. As I told you before you spoke, this morning when I heard the announcement, I thought I heard Rukmini. I'm thinking, who's Rukmini? And then I saw you sit down and I thought, wow, this is going to be great. and I'm not disappointed. You delivered a very, very wonderful class, a very pointed message, but in a way that we can all carry the discussion forward. So I'm going to throw something at you, please, because I know you can handle it. You're talking about distribution of spiritual knowledge and the spiritual opportunity to go back to Godhead. But at the same time, some will point out that Lord Chaitanya did not interfere with the social order. Like Haridas Thakur was not allowed into the Jagannath temple. He was God, he could have forced them, but he didn't. He said, okay, I'll come and see you every day. They won't let you go in to see Jagannath, so I'm also Jagannath, I'll come and see you. In other words, he didn't disturb the social order. He let them stay with their little petty mentality, and he just carried on his mission anyway. So how do you respond to that? Some people say we shouldn't disturb social order here and there if it doesn't fit into our picture of egalitarianism.
Right, thank you very much. So Srila Prabhupada also went to Puri, and he chastised the Brahmins at Puri, and he said, he is called Jagannath. He is not Purinath, he is Jagannath. And in fact, Jagannath, by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, from the very beginning, when Shyama was in San Francisco, Jagannath appeared. And he appears everywhere, wherever Prabhupada's mission, Lord Chaitanya's mission is spreading. So yeah, it's very true that we shouldn't disturb the social order, but there are different social orders in different places and different times. And the different cultures also have to be honored. You know, in one place, in one of his purports to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada's, someone was pointing out yesterday that Srila Prabhupada did not appreciate the word impossible. But in one place in a purport to Chaitanya Charitamrita, he uses the word impossible and accepts it. He says, it is impossible to try to impose the Indian standards of behaviors and culture on people from other parts of the world. That is, people who do not understand how to spread a worldwide mission may criticize. So different people in different parts of the world have their different social mores, and those should be honored, you know. So I appreciate your point. But as I said, the whole world is not India. 99% of the world is not Hindu. So we have to honor the culture when we come here and honor the sacred values that we learn. Actually, once Srila Prabhupada said, if my disciples come to India and they don't learn anything, they're fools. So there's so much to learn here about sattvic behaviors and so many other wonderful things. But other cultures also have to be all honored in other places. I hope that's helpful.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Is there a mic?
Thank you. Thank you, Rukmini. Prabhu, it was a wonderful class and it was a wonderful class and very inspiring. I just wanted to make a small point, speaking to the previous person who made the point to you, was that actually Prabhupada himself disturbed the social order. Because in Indian tradition, women did not live in the temple. They served and went home, and in many cases didn't get second initiation. Their husbands were given Brahmin, and by dint of that, the wives became Brahmanis. But Srila Prabhupada, his vision was so revolutionary. Even Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, he broke the barriers by giving Brahmin to non-Brahmin men. But Srila Prabhupada took it one step further, and he allowed boys and girls to live together, serve in the temple, and of course, as we know, gave Brahmin initiation to women. So we need to remember Srila Prabhupada did think outside the box. And Srila Prabhupada also did say, it's recorded, that the reason why I was so successful is because I allowed boys and girls to serve together. So Prabhupada was the breaker of many social orders.
Thank you.
Just wanted to make that
good point. I want to answer your point also with a story Srila Prabhupada told. At one time, the #1 book distributor in the world was Mula Prakriti from Los Angeles. And Srila Prabhupada was so pleased with her service that he called her into his room to give her his appreciation. And he told her that these women devotees are Lord Chaitanya's secret weapon for spreading his Sankirtan movement. And I mean, she was so mystical that she would distribute books. At that time, Japan was very affluent, and she would distribute so many books to the Japanese people, and when she would distribute books to them, her eyes would go like this, and she would look Japanese. She was so empowered. But Srila Prabhupada told her a very funny story. He told her that once in Calcutta, there was a company that was marketing something called Brahmi hair oil, which he said had no scientific proof that it was in any way effective at all. But because of their brilliant marketing scheme, it became very wildly successful. And what was the scheme? The marketing scheme was that they engaged respectable young ladies in going door to door and knocking on people's doors to sell this product. So Srila Prabhupada said, in Kali Yuga, people are very afraid if a man comes to knock at their door. But if a respectable young lady knocks at their door, they will happily open the door. So this product, he said, became wildly successful. So a little something from Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu?
So you said we have to appreciate and honor diversity. So sometimes the tendency is to say everything Indian is good and everything in the West is bad. But there's lots of good things in the West, starting with recycling, ecology, not throwing plastic bags all over the place. And sometimes we don't appreciate enough. And some things are very bad in India, also, you got to say. So, so how to avoid this, being black and white.
Okay, why don't you pass the mic this way? Yeah, it's a good point. So I believe this is what unity and diversity means, that we have to honor the good things we see from different cultures in the world. And I'll give you an example from Srila Prabhupada. When he first brought his disciples to India, some curious reporters were asking these new, odd Western people, what did you do before you were a disciple of Bhaktivedanta Swami? So one of the young men, Chidananda, I believe it was, he said, I was a construction worker. And this became, very blasphemous all over the Indian media. Prabhupada is picking up the lowest laborers and engaging them as bhaktas. And Srila Prabhupada defended his position, and he said, no, in the Western countries, honest labor is respected, unlike here in India. So he appreciated that fact, that honest labor is appreciated in Western countries. And there's so many things we could discuss. We could go on for another hour. The good and bad in different cultures, we have to go to the essence, right? This is what it means to be a Saragrahi Vaishnava, to be able to pull out the essence and reject what is unacceptable. My brother is the chairman of the Department of Microbiology at NYU in New York, and he worked his way through Harvard Law School by being a garbage man. So this is something a little different in Western countries. So yes, Prabhu.
I just wanted to underscore that Prabhupada not only made that point of engaging men and women equally, but he was quite passionate about it. And his purport, I'll just read a small section of it. And he says this is what Acharya does. An Acharya who comes for the service of the Lord cannot be expected to conform to a stereotype, for he must find ways and means by which Krishna consciousness may be spread. Sometimes jealous persons criticize the Krishna consciousness movement because it engages equally both boys and girls in distributing love of Godhead. Not knowing that boys and girls in countries like Europe and America mix very freely, these fools and rascals, so this is the choice of words that shows his, these fools and rascals criticize the boys and girls in Krishna consciousness for intermingling. But these rascals should consider that one cannot suddenly change a community's social customs. However, since both the boys and girls are being trained to become preachers, those girls are not ordinary girls, but are as good as their brothers who are preaching Krishna consciousness. Therefore, to engage both boys and girls in fully transcendental activities is a policy intended to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. These jealous fools who criticize the intermingling of boys and girls will simply have to be satisfied with their own foolishness, because they cannot think of how to spread Krishna consciousness by adopting ways and means that are favorable for this purpose. Their stereotype methods will never help spread Krishna consciousness. Therefore, what we are doing is perfect by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for it is He who proposed to invent a way to capture those who strayed from Krishna consciousness.
Srila Prabhupada. No one can speak more strongly or boldly as than Srila Prabhupada. We like very much to introduce Vedic concepts, but Srila Prabhupada was really teaching transcendental bhakti principles. And when Vedic concepts and ideas would enhance our practice of Krishna bhakti, he would embrace them, and sometimes he would reject them. So this is what we have to see. We have to really be Saragrahi Vaishnavas and go to the essence of what Srila Prabhupada gave us, and never degrade into sectarian, ritualistic, smarta principles. Yeah. Sometimes he would accept, sometimes he would reject, depending on whether it would enhance our Krishna consciousness. That's an important point. So maybe another question from this side? Or this side? Yes, Prabhu?
Just that I wanted to ask that in the purport it was said that, first of all, thank you for selecting this verse and giving class on that. In the purport it was...
Can you speak loudly, because I don't know if the mic is on.
In the purport it was said that, yet according to this verse, an offenseless chanter of the holy name is already fit to perform a fire ceremony, even though he is not doubly initiated by the sacred thread ceremony. But my question is that how can we recognize that if we are chanting offenselessly, and because seventh offense also says that to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name is also offense against holy name. So how can we recognize that we have reached that state of offenseless chanting, and how can we say that because everything which has been given to us, it's by also Krishna's, by system, by his arrangement, the culture that he has given to us. So how can we say that when we are qualified to go against that culture which he has given to us?
Yeah, so there are symptoms given in Nectar of Devotion, of pure devotion, right? That someone will not advertise, but sometimes it may be, he may not be able to prohibit tears coming from his eyes or shivering in his body or hirpulations or these things. So these are some external symptoms in the body that may be present in someone who's chanting the pure holy name, but there are other symptoms that are given. He never likes to waste even a moment. How about that? That's something that can't be imitated. I was hearing Lokanath Swami talking about chili bhava. Have you heard this before? When sometimes some kirtan singers, they put chilies up their nose and then they cry, and people think, oh, such ecstatic love. So he said, we're not interested in this chili bhava. So some symptoms can be imitated, but certain ones cannot. Like not wasting a single moment. What about Raghunath Das Goswami, that his sadhana was like the lines in stone? Can that be imitated? No. So someone has to practice, live it, and preach it. Achar, prachar, both have to be there. So then those symptoms can come. And we have to cry to Lord Nityananda. When will Lord Nityananda, out of pity, free me from the temptations of this world? When will that day be mine? Gauranga Bolite Habi, Prabhupada used to sing so beautifully. So we have to cry like that, pray like that, because in one beautiful place in the pastimes of Lord Nrsingadev, Lord Nrsingadev says that it is his pleasure pastime as the Lord in the heart to sit in each of our hearts and to fulfill each and every one of our desires. Isn't that beautiful? So if this is what you want, if you hear this class and think, I really aspire for offenseless chanting, when will that day be mine? Then you can pray to Krishna like that. Ask Krishna, because he has all the time in the world sitting in our hearts, and he's there to fulfill our desires, either the ones that take us away from Krishna or the ones that lead us to the beautiful lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So if this is what we're desiring, personally, I pray to not be a time waster. I pray to not be a time waster. So just a few thoughts on that. Any other questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That caught my ear also when we were hearing the purport of offenseless chanting. because there's 3 stages in chanting: offensive, clearing, and pure chanting. And offenseless chanting is not necessarily, it is obviously synonymous with pure chanting, but namabhas in and of itself, that gives liberation, nothing to sneeze at.
Right.
So when you're talking about qualification, you don't have to take it to bhava, those 9 symptoms. He's referring that this purification, I mean, you know, I don't think we'd be having this discussion if
Speak louder, they can hear.
I don't think we would be having such controversy if we realized that the name is non-different from Krishna in the offenseless stage of chanting.
Yeah, so beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Very beautiful. I love to go every year to the Japa retreat at Govardhan, led by Sachinandan Swami and Burjan Prabhu. And while we're chanting Japa, Burjan will be intersplicing repeatedly. He will say, if you can hear one holy name, one entire mantra, you are so fortunate. And if your mind wanders, it's okay, but try again. So encouraging, not beating yourself up, but just so encouraging to just hear one whole holy name, one mantra. So beautiful. So that's an encouragement that I find helpful. If someone had a question over here.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you for a wonderful lecture.
They can't hear.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me? Hello. Hare Krishna. Thank you for wonderful inspiration today. Maharaj has mentioned yesterday about given an example of a cigarette packet. Yeah. So when I see in the West, I see in the deity worship, we can see women on the altar, which Srila Prabhupada has allowed. But in India, we don't see that. Can you please explain?
Well, you know, this is up to the temple managers. I don't want to get into that. In the West, he trained many women pujaris. In India, perhaps he didn't want to disturb the social order. But I know in many temples there are women on the altar dressing the deities. Maybe they're not doing the arti, but in many conservative places, women are dressing the deities and doing a lot of the deity worship. Even sometimes here in Mayapur that happens. So, yeah, Srila Prabhupada didn't want to disturb the social orders. And, you know, there's a lot of discretion given to temple presidents about what's appropriate in their places. So maybe that should be discussed more, you know. He trained Yamuna Devi. He trained Shilavati. He even gave me a little bit of training. So, yeah. Yes. Oh, here's one over. He has the mic, so I'll pass it there. We still have 5 minutes.
Can I ask? Should I give? Okay. With her permission, I'll ask. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
She's merciful.
She's very kind. So do you. So thank you so much, Rukmini Mataji, for the enlightenment. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Rukmini Mataji, for such a enlightening class, especially about glories of the holy name and humility which you defined. That I am very tiny. I learn from others, and I don't want to hurt anyone from my thought, words, and actions. So speaking about magnanimity, as you were also saying that imitation is not very easy. So this magnanimity is there only even in one avatar of Lord also. That is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not even our other avatars. So it appears to be very, very exalted quality, which very, very difficult to imbibe, which has to be imbibed, like from respect, etiquette, love, compassion, and then magnanimity. So how do we grow from this, having quarrels, fight, disrespect to this highest quality of magnanimity which we cannot just imitate. So can you please help?
Yeah, we all need role models. Children need role models. Women need role models. Men need role models. Everyone in society needs a point of light to emulate their behavior. So these great role models, as a matter of fact, you mentioned Maharaj's class. I think you mentioned Maharaj's class yesterday. I was remembering he also said that Kamsa was not convinced by Vasudev's philosophy he was speaking. He was convinced by his character, which is a very, very profound statement. So many of you are book distributors all over the world. We have this glorious book distribution, distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. But when you're distributing a book, people will, really they're looking at you. You know, if I buy this book, I'll become like him. I'll become like her. So first of all, what, Madhavananda mentioned yesterday, St. Francis, that I try to preach all day, and sometimes if necessary, I use a few words, right? So character is most important. Character is what shines forth in society. I mean, what are these principles? Our sadhana, sadhu sangha, svadhyaya, important deep study of scripture, and then sadachar. This is the character that we take forth into the world. And this is what's most important. People should meet devotees and say, what is it about you? People should meet someone in your office, in your temple, wherever you are, in the playground, and say, what is it about you? You don't get disturbed the way other people do. Your character is self-luminous. This is the way devotees should shine in the world. And then people will all want to become Krishna conscious. You know, it's by character. And this is how Srila Prabhupada taught, like fire, anyone he touched. Like Lord Chaitanya, he went all through South India, everyone became a Vaishnava. So this is what we need to do. Otherwise, if we're just in the headspace and talking philosophy, it may not be as effective. So,
okay, Rukmini, I just wanted to make a very quick point, just a point of historical interest about the Pujari situation. Srila Prabhupada, I was a Bhakti in Calcutta temple in 1974, and Srila Prabhupada gave me first and second initiation together so I could worship, be the Pujari for Lord Jagannath Baladev Subhadra in Calcutta. Mm-hmm. So I was Jagannath Baladev Subhadra's Pujari for a year and a half. Narayani served tirelessly and for a long time as the head Pujari for Radha Govinda, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj's widow Madhuri, she was the servant of Lord Chaitanya. So at least Calcutta Temple has a previous history of lady pujaris.
Yeah, I remember that. Thank you. And just one other point, when Srila Prabhupada first came to India in 1970, I mean, the history is there. He had Himavati giving the lectures, and Yamuna Devi was leading the kirtans. So Srila Prabhupada's example is there. Thank you all so very much.